Hey folks, Dan Badandi, TruthRadioShow.com. Today's August 25th, 2017. I'm in Providence, Rhode Island, and there's been a lot of talk about statues and monuments being torn down. The thing is, we can't erase history. That's the whole thing. Tearing these monuments down and statues, yeah, a lot of them do represent bad stuff that happened in history, but it's a reminder to the people that we should never repeat this history again. But however, there are monuments that not only should be torn down, but also the Bible says to tear it down as well, because they stand for pure evil. I'm not talking about Confederate stuff. Again, that's only a history reminder not to repeat history. But there are certain monuments that should be torn down because they're 100% pure evil. And this here, again, we're in Providence, Rhode Island on South Main Street, War Memorial Park. But this here, this is definitely a statue of evil that should be torn down. It's made into an obelisk. But if you look at real closely what it stands for, and if you guessed it, what's inside that encasement, yes, real actual guns that were disabled and put into the statue, real firearms. And why this represents evil for our folks? Because this is basically United Nations propaganda to call for the disarmament of the American people. They want to disarm the American people, and to do that they want to turn all your weapons into plowshares, as if you see on the statues at the United Nations building in New York. But this here is disgusting, and this is definitely a monument that should be torn down. And there's a lot of monuments here in Providence that should be torn down. But again, this stuff is not a reminder of history, folks. Like no Confederate stuff. This is real evil stuff that should be torn down. And it's not a coincidence it's shaped into an obelisk, because if it's our occultic agenda and a New World Order plans to disarm the American people and push a New World Order, because the Second Amendment is the only last vestige between us and a New World Order. So the United Nations wants every month or so they have a small arms treaty meeting in New York City to try to take everybody's firearms. And speaking of monuments, we're going to come over here. And this is a giant obelisk, and they disguise it as a war memorial. But every city in the country has one of these things. It's a giant obelisk. If people don't know what an obelisk is, it's old Egyptian monuments all over the world. Every city has them. The Washington Monument has nothing to do with George Washington, but they have these things all over the place. It's obelisk. It signifies Nimrod's golden penis. That's exactly what it is. Everything in the occult is sexual. It's to do with resurrection. That's what it is. And that's another monument. All of them across the planet should be torn down. And we're going to come over here to see something really vastly disgusting. And again, this is South Main Street here in Providence, Rhode Island. And this is a Korean War Memorial. So you got the, again, memorial to remind us not to repeat history again, which is nothing bad with this here. This here, of course, the Korean War was wrong, we all know that, but this is a reminder. This monument here should not be torn down, because it's a reminder not to repeat history. Because the elite want to take the monuments, certain monuments away, so we don't know history, so we can repeat it. But there's only one little problem about this whole monument here. That's fine, POW flag, Providence flag, flag of the state of Rhode Island, the Korean flag, and the United States flag. But there's this one little problem here. This trash bag flag called the United Nations flag. This should be burned. This should definitely be taken down and be burned, because it's disgusting. It really is. And somebody should just light this damn thing on fire. But anyway, there's certain more, again, this is the point of this video, is to show certain monuments. Again, we know the Korean War, in tribute to the Rhode Island Korean War veterans. That's great, because this shows and proves history that hopefully we never repeat this again to go to Korea. So that shows people not to repeat history. But that over there, that giant memorial, that giant obelisk, has nothing to do with veterans, nothing to do with war. Okay, it's a giant obelisk. They have one in every city across the country and all over the world, in major cities. It's a giant obelisk to resurrect the Antichrist. That's exactly what it is. I'm calling it exactly how what it is and what it is. And that encasement over there I showed you with the guns, that's right there. That's from that United Nations propaganda. And yeah, the Korean War was a United Nations war that put our own people in harm's way, but it's very disgusting. Right here is a World War II memorial right next to the Korean memorial, and all over the place you got to see they have all these plaques of different platoons and everything that served in World War II, all the conflicts. Right here in the middle there's a globe. We're gonna get down here and show you. And here's the globe and all the conflicts and everything else. And but what we're going to point out here again, they love to disguise these things as war memorials so they get public funding and all that, but however these things have nothing to do with wars. The ancient architecture buildings here. And if you notice, there's downtown Florence, there's a lot of weird occultic things built here. And on Saturday nights they have a thing called water fire. Right over here, it's an old pagan and Druid festival where they celebrate joining of elements of fire and water. I'm going to show you here real quick. And those things there, that's where they have the water fires at Saturday nights. And again, a lot of occultic structures here, and some of them again disguised as war memorials. Ancient architecture. This is a reason why they're built like this. I mean, this is looks like an old Apollo type throne here, or pulpit, whatever you want to call it. There's a reason why they do this for. Again, with that giant obelisk over there, because it all fulfills occultic agendas. Basically, they're hailing the Antichrist. Right here is a World War II memorial right next to the Korean memorial, and all over the place you got to see they have all these plaques of different platoons and everything that served in World War II, all the conflicts. Right here in the middle there's a globe. We're gonna get down here and show you. And here's the globe and all the conflicts and everything else. And but what we're going to point out here again, they love to disguise these things as war memorials so they get public funding and all that, but however these things have nothing to do with wars. The ancient architecture buildings here. And if you notice, there's downtown Florence, there's a lot of weird occultic things built here. And on Saturday nights they have a thing called water fire. Right over here, it's an old pagan and Druid festival where they celebrate joining of elements of fire and water. I'm going to show you here real quick. And those things there, that's where they have the water fires at Saturday nights. And again, a lot of occultic structures here, and some of them again disguised as war memorials. Ancient architecture. This is a reason why they're built like this. I mean, this is looks like an old Apollo type throne here, or pulpit, whatever you want to call it. There's a reason why they do this for. Again, with that giant obelisk over there, because it all fulfills occultic agendas. Basically, they're hailing the Antichrist. And here's another strange monument here. It's a statue of Roger Williams. He was the founder of Rhode Island. but there's something very peculiar because the way he's standing, it's a Masonic pose. I forgot the degree, the rite and the ritual of it, but there's a Masonic pose, but there's no record of Roger Williams ever being part of the Masonic Order or the Knights Templar. But I'm going to show you in a minute what he's pointing at. If you see across the way, there's the Rhode Island State House, and you can see the statue right there. He's pointing directly at the Renaissance Hotel, which is one of the oldest and largest Freemason lodges in the country. Normally you'd be able to see directly, but those trees grew in, and you usually could get up on the statue here and look directly across, and it's pointing right at the Masonic Lodge. And a little interesting quote here: "Here reposes dust from the grave of Roger Williams." This is a big memorial to Roger Williams. I do want to state that Roger Williams has no history on being a member of any occult or secret society such as the Freemasons or the Knights Templar. However, there are a lot of these things all over the state, anywhere from monuments to weird structures like pyramids, and a lot of things that were left behind by the Knights Templar, such as tower in Newport, Rhode Island. Everybody thinks the Vikings built it. They even had this on the History Channel, but it was built by John Dee. He was a former member of the Queen's Secret Service, and also part of the Knights Templar. But anyway, we've got a lot of history of the Knights Templar here in Rhode Island. But also, I just want to state one thing too, because there's a lot of misconstrued about history. Rhode Island here, the founder right there, Roger Williams, he founded Rhode Island because of religious persecution by the British. I mean, they were trying to impose the Church of England onto everybody, which is almost like a version of the Catholic Church. And I thought it was the same, actually, if you ask me. But anyway, they were trying to push this religion onto everybody and take your guns, push taxation without representation. So Roger Williams from Rhode Island founded it and said, you know what, and there's a reason why he called it Providence, because it means God's land. It means God. So he founded Providence, Rhode Island, so Christians and Puritans could come here and worship God without persecution. And the Rhode Island here, the state of Rhode Island, was the first state in the Union to declare its independence against Britain because of one, religion. They were trying to force their religion down their throat. Two, they were trying to take our guns. And three, taxation without representation. And the state of Rhode Island had enough. And in fact, they were the last state to sign the Constitution, because they would not sign the Constitution unless the Bill of Rights were included in the Constitution. That's why it took so long for the Constitution to be fully implemented, because Rhode Island's like, no, we're not going to sign the Constitution unless you include the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights were included, and there we have the Constitution of the United States of America. So there's a lot of important history of Rhode Island, and I'm happy to be part of this history, fighting off gun control and all these damn tyrants that try to hijack our state. But there you go, folks. We know there's certain monuments that should not be taken down, like war monuments. I don't care if it's Confederate, World War I, II, 3 coming soon, and Vietnam, North Korea, and all that stuff. But there's things like that obelisk over there, as we pointed out, and that other little obelisk full of small guns. Those are evil monuments. Those are evil things that should be torn down. And not only that, because it's the right thing to do, but also the Bible says to tear these evil things down. But as far as war memorials, nobody agreed with the North Vietnamese war there, but however, I'm sorry, North Korea war. Anyway, nobody agreed with that, but that is a piece of history. Same thing with the Confederates. People say there's a lot of slavery and everything else, and but the thing is, those are there for a reason, so we never repeat history. Because again, the elite want to take certain monuments away because they want to erase history, so you repeat it. And Edmund Burke, one of the founding fathers, he was a lawyer. He quoted, "Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it." And exactly what they're trying to do today, folks, is erase history from the history books, from out in reality in general, so we end up repeating the same history again. It's a George Orwellian state. It's a Nazi tactic. I mean, these people are barbaric. Anybody in the New World Order, they're barbarics. They are just a bunch of barbarians, I should say. And they want to dissolve the Constitution, take our gun rights away. This is the first step to fit the Communist Manifesto, the New World Order agendas. But anyway, folks, we need to put a stop to that. And yes, certain statues and monuments like that should come down. And I don't condone anybody doing it, because you probably get a charge for terrorism. Even though right now, much as I like to rip this damn thing down right now, that I could too, because the ropes right here. But, however, I don't want to get in trouble with violating the law and, you know, get charged for destruction of property. But the thing is, even though I don't agree with that, you know, people need to take action, legislative action, because if I did take that down, they'll have a new one up tomorrow. So we need to take legislative action to get those things down permanently and do it the right way. But anyway, folks, Dan Bidandi, TruthRadioShow.com. God bless.